Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, Senate Committee on Agriculture. To our colleagues, mga kababayan, mga kasama sa hanap buhay, magandang umaga po. I made a memo. Naggawa po kami ng memo.
Yes,
para
please
sa inyo,
proceed.
para
Okay. Could you
medyo-
just very
medyo
quickly?
just quickly.
Yes.
Ang tingin po namin, when discussing about the persistent high prices of food and other commodities, there is a perceived bias in the outcome of the narratives towards the consumers, leaving the fate of the producer farmer forgotten altogether. In basic economic principles, if you want to stabilize and or reduce consumer prices, you need to increase supply to meet the demand, which means increase production. But the irony of agriculture in our country, farm gate prices are low for farmers, but retail or consumer prices are high. If we do not allow our farmers to make money in their production, we cannot expect encouragement from them to produce more to meet the demand. Thus, the basic solution is to increase productivity. Ang tingin po namin, halos kumpleto naman po yung batas, kumpleto yung mga kailangan gawin para increase ang production, ayusin yung consumer. Ang tingin ko lang po para tong mahjong set na hinalo-halo yung mahjong pieces. Nandun po lahat yung pieces kumpleto, pero hindi ho nakakamada. At nagpapasalamat po kami at nandito yung ating masipag at magaling na Secretary of Agriculture. Talagang nagpupursige siya, pero may mga policy at batas po na wala siyang magawa na nakapwesto na, as I said, nakakalat na parang yung set sa lamesa. Yung farm gate prices are low. So you have fragmented small-scale farming, dependence on descaderos or middlemen, high post-harvest losses, import competition and trade liberalization, and so on and so forth. Yung policy and subsidy gaps, especially on credit, availability of credit and capital, which is very important in production. Tinitingnan po natin yung technology nandun po, pero kailangan ng puhunan ng magsasaka. At yung isa po sa isang napakagulong bagay yung access to credit and capital. Na po pwede po natin, for example lang po, PCIC, yung insurance, inilipat na po from the President, Office of the President to the DA. Hindi po kasama sa board ng PCIC ang DA. Pero ini-insure niya yung mga tiga-agriculture. Hindi po kasama sa board, members of the board ng DA. Yung pong Agricultural Guarantee Loan Fund, kinuha ng Philippine Guarantee Corporation. Yung pong mga penalty given by the banks doon sa hindi sumusunod sa agri-agra law dati, naka-generate po siya ng about almost 11 billion. Hawak-hawak po ng Philippine Guarantee Corporation. Based on the central bank rules, these are government guaranteed, but ang ginagaranti po ng Philippine Guarantee Corporation, 97%, mga BGC at saka Makati condominium, 97%. Wala po sa agriculture. Pero hawak-hawak niya yung Agricultural Guarantee Loan Fund na times 3, mga 35 billion, pero niya i-guarantee yung mga farmer na walang collateral. Pero hawak-hawak po ng AGMP. Pinapakiusap po namin, ibalik na po sa Department of Agriculture, AGMP, through ACPC. Sila na ang magpatakbo ng guarantee para sigurado yung mga policy na gagaranti. Kasi po yung mga bangko, meron po tayong amendment sa Agri-Agra Law, yung bagong batas na napunta na po sa Land Bank and DBP yung mga penalty na binibigay ng mga bangko. May 3 billion na po sa Land Bank, 3 billion sa DBP. Paano po ang gagawin? Yung mga bangko, rural banks, strip banks, hindi sila hihingi ng guarantee sa Land Bank dahil competitor nila yung Land Bank do sa field eh. So hawak-hawak ngayon ng Land Bank at DBP yung pera na penalty na binigay ng mga bangko. For example lang po, tingnan niyo yung land bank. As of March 31, 2025, ang deposit liabilities po ng land bank is 3 trillion. Ang pinautang niya is 1.2 trillion. Yun ang pautang ng land bank. But do sa pautang na 1.2 trillion, baka nasa 300 billion lang po ang sa farmer. Land bank is our agricultural bank. Baka tapos 773 billion nilagay niya sa government security na dapat pinauutang niya sa magsasaka. Yun po isa sa mga halo-halo na kailangan po iayos natin, ibigay sa Department of Agriculture, sa ACPC, para yung mga policy ng lending, credit access, capital, puhunan, mapunta dun sa mga tao. Nangyayari po, sa middleman kumukuha ng puhunan.
Chair, pwedeng mag-interject
Yung
doon sa
po ang
Yes.
ano.
With the permission of
Yes.
these
Yes.
resource persons, yes, please, go
Thank
ahead.
you, thank you, Chair. Pasensya na po kung magre-request ako sa inyo na palitan natin yung paghahalimbawa ninyo. Kasi yung halimbawa po nyo madyong. Kalat-kalat ang pyesa, hindi nakakamada. Kasi po sa akin bawal ang sugal eh.
Sorry.
Ganito po yun. Alin po yung kalat-kalat? Ako po, hindi na po paghahalimbawa. Sasabihin ko na sa inyo ang totoo. Napakarami nating magagandang batas. Katulad po ito sa sinasabi nyo ngayon. Meron po tayong batas. Matagal na po ito. Hindi ko lang po sa ulado yung Republic Act. Pero meron po, mag-check po ng Agriculture Department. Meron tayong batas para bigyan ng guaranteed price ang palay. Anong problema? Hindi po kalat-kalat, hindi lang sinusunod. Hindi na i-implement. Pagkatapos po yung tungkol sa financing, yung po sinasabi niyo mga guarantee. Meron din po tayong batas. Republic Act 10,000. Ano po sinasabi doon? Lahat po ng bangko, mapapubliko, mapaprivate, 25% ng loanable fund ng bangko ipairam sa mga small farmers and beneficiaries of agrarian reform. 25% of their portfolio. Hindi natutupad. Checkin po ninyo. Nireview ko po yan. Only 4% sa 25%. Gumagawa ng paraan ng mga bangko para masircumvent yun. Kasi nakikita niya yung mga farmers na dala-dala ni Secretary Kiko. Yung iba nakatsinelas, yung iba nakatapak lang. Sasabihin ng manager, Chairman, paano ko kanya pahiramin ito? Baka hindi makakabayad itong mga ito. Palaging ganun ang tingin nila sa farmer. Hindi po kalat-kalat eh. Ang mga batas po na nagawa na ng Kongreso, marami po yan. Ang problema po, hindi po nila sinusunod. Kaya ang kailangan po talaga rito yung oversight function. Tama po yung direksyon natin. Sa susunod po siguro natin pagdinig, dadaling ko yung mga sinasabi ko sa inyong mangilan-ngilan ngunit importanteng mga batas tungkol sa agriculture. Ngunit hindi natutupad. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Hihingit lang ako, Mr. Chair. Palibhasa
Yes.
yung agri-agra loans ang pinag-uusapan. Na-amyenda yan nung nakaraang sesyon pagkat sa dalawa ang nakita natin, unang-una na yung mga bangko would rather pay for the penalty than lend to farmers who were most unlikely to pay. So it wasn't working as an agri-agra window. So kinansela na natin yung paghati. Tapos ikalawa, maraming agriculture na mag-uutang, wala naman agrarian reform beneficiaries na mangungutang. So yung split nung dalawa, tinanggal na. So tinitingnan natin, palibhasa bago pa lamang ang batas, kung talagang nagfa-function siya at kung kinakailangan pa ng panibagong amendment. Kasi palipat-lipat yung pondong yan, tinatago-tago, hindi ko maintindihan eh. Pero tignan natin kung mag-work ngayon.
Thank
Yes,
you po, Mr. Chairman. If I may.
Before, I'm sorry, we were just alerted by the committee secretary, so we will have to make the presentation of the Department of Agriculture through USEC ASIS, no? But before that, just we would like to place also on record, we would like to correct some of the figures we raised earlier in terms of the price increases. Kasim over 40%, beef over 40%, sugar over 55%, bawang over 50%, kamatis over 80%, and the rest of the corrections we will submit to the committee on committee secretary so that the necessary corrections are made. But the point being, talagang sobra-sobra ang pagtaas ng presyo ng ating pagkain. We now proceed with the presentation of the Department of Agriculture through Yusek Asis Perez. You have the floor, Yusek Perez.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the members of this committee for allowing us to make this presentation. What I'll do today is just to provide a snapshot of Philippine agriculture. Over the past 2 decades, the development of the country's agri-fisheries sector has been slow and erratic, lagging behind the industry services sector with the contribution to our GDP continuously declining. This doesn't mean, though, that we are not growing. It's just that the other sectors are growing much faster, Mr. Chair. Hindi naka-ano. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right. Parang hindi naka-cue. Hindi siya naka-cue. Okay. But just the same, Mr. Chair, it's growing but not as fast, and the growth is often slow and, of course, very, very erratic. There are years when it's growing, but there are more years that it's not growing. And there are, in fact, years when we are declining. So this represents the different average annual growth of the sector. And as you can see, Mr. Chair, the crop sector represents 55% of the share of our agriculture. Livestock is around 11%. Poultry is 8%. And of course, fisheries is 12.5%. And of course, the support activities represents around 11% of the entire.
What would support activities be? Just a few.
That would be the pre-production activities, Mr. Chair. For instance, the mechanization, the fertilizers and things like that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. Let's look at the numbers, what we believe are the crucial numbers here. While agriculture is not growing, it still supports 11.2 million Filipinos who are employed in this subsector. If you consider the industries related to agriculture, because we are counted at the production level. After production, the auxiliary industries like processing industries for tuna are not even counted into that. So it's even more. So we're looking at 11.2 million Filipinos employed by the sector. Despite this, poverty remains the highest in the sector. Admittedly, there was a big leap from 2006 when poverty in the sector is at 38. It's 10% in the case of agriculture. In the case of fisherfolk, it's from 41 to 27. So may improvement po, pero palagay ko maliit po yung improvement because if you compare with other countries, now the poverty incidence in their sector is around 4 or 5. Next slide, please. For instance, sir, in the case of Vietnam, if you look at Vietnam, for instance, in ASEAN, many of the countries many of the farmers in this country has
single digit.
Are now in the single digit.
Okay, thank you.
Unlike the Philippines. So what are the challenges in the sector? Of course, low productivity, and this was explained earlier by our secretary because productivity is based on the availability of water and technology, and of course inputs. The delayed in infrastructure development for forward linkages. Just to explain this further, Mr. Chair, we calculated the total investment requirement for agriculture to work properly is 3.5 trillion peso. This is the backlog that we are trying to